growing up in the midst of challenges, turbulent times when people had come to Selma to fight for the right to vote. Growing up and experiencing racial discrimination was pretty common to me as a little girl, because there were many places, even before the movement would have come to Selma, that my parents would take me, and I was that inquisitive little girl. I would always ask questions, because there would be signs in different places for whites only, signs for blacks only, and I was smart enough to know the difference as a little girl, because the white side, or the white privileges that they had, was different from what blacks had. And in many places, we could not even go. But after having met Dr. Martin Luther King, that is what really pricked my conscience and took it to another level for me to even be more inspired and motivated to become more involved in that movement. Every time there would be a mass meeting or marches, I would not obey my parents. I would follow my own instincts as a child and make my way to Brown Chapel Church for the mass meetings, and many times make my way on the marches without going to school. But my most traumatic experience as that little girl was my participation on the Bloody Sunday March, a day and time in which I would never, ever forget. Being in the midst of the movement and how it impacted me, Dr. King, of course, had that profound impact on me. But what impacted me even more is being in the midst and around courageous people that I saw fighting for something that they stood for, even with taking a risk for their lives. And the many times that I would be surrounded by Dr. King and these courageous foot soldiers, and back then we called them freedom fighters, it just made me even more motivated to want to be a part of change. We have made many strides as a result of the civil rights movement. We have progress politically, socially, and economically. But even today, we have much work to do. There's much to be done. As we look at the 60s in terms of some of the struggles and many challenges in which we were plagued with then, we are plagued with some of those same challenges today. And because of that, it's more reason why we must become more educated. We must go to the polls and vote, so that many policies and that can be changed on local, regional, and national basis. Because this is how our lives are impacted on day to day. And that's why I fight so hard with working as a youth advocate, working with young people and educating and trying to train them and express to them the importance of knowing their history. It's so much more work to be done, not just in our communities, but across the nation.